فیسبوک یه فضای خصوصی نیست، یه فضای عمومیه. بنابراین هر وقت خواستین تو فیسبوک چیزی رو لایک بزنین، شیر کنین، کامنت بذارین، فکر کنین وسط میدون انقلاب وایسادین، 100 تا چشم دارن نگاهتون میکنن. از خودتون بپرسین آیا این کارو وسط میدون انقلاب هم میکردین؟ اگه جوابتون به اون سوال بله باشه، اون وقت رو فیسبوک اون کارو انجام بدین.
We all have our worries, but if you're in a country like Iran, for example, then you know you're facing an immediate and very real threat. The big decision, do I go online and use social networks at all? Because just doing that is a red flag. But given that you're determined and this is something you feel you need to do, then a lot of people choose to be anonymous online. They make a new identity, they use a pseudonym, they use a separate email address, maybe they buy a separate SIM card that they only use for that if they're using a smartphone. What you share and who you share it with, who you have in your network, who you link up with, those are also risks. And if you're on a computer and it has an email, so you're logging in, you're anonymous, you think you are, you go to some social networks, they harvest your email. They'll go and search through your address book. So you have to be very careful that you're not inadvertently exposing your entire network, social, personal, private, business, whatever it is, without realizing it to a network like LinkedIn or Facebook. Don't get so caught up in how great you are at being a social media activist that you lose sight of or lose your ability to judge relationships. So don't drop your barriers too quickly. You build up this virtual relationship with other people online, and you find that you're giving them more trust than you would give to anybody that you met in real life under similar circumstances. This is a way that the authorities will use this to break through your defence and find out information about you for whatever reason.
There's another really kind of dark side to social media that I think is relevant here as well, which is that increasingly it's not just a government trying to get your data, steal your passwords, install some malware on your device by establishing these false connections. But it's also this incredible phenomenon we're seeing of harassment against human rights defenders, and that's not necessarily just coming from the state. It can be coming from other groups as well. We see especially against women human rights defenders, but also against LGBTI activists, and just the amount of vitriolic hate speech and violent threats. Human rights defenders are often marginalized, outcast, painted as terrorists or painted as criminals, and I think it's really important that they're aware of just, if you have a social media account, you need to be very, very careful what you put on it.
So when we use social media, we need to especially when we use it for activism, we need to think of what are we using for and what are we trying to do. So are we trying to mobilize as much as people? Then social media might be the tool, but would it also expose danger for people who are then saying, I will be attending this protest, I will be attending this protest. We're automatically showing our whole network of everyone that's going to be there. And then they only need to take a facial recognition camera and then compare it with your Facebook pictures plus Facebook's real name policy, and then we have all the real names of the people who were there at the demonstration.
So when I knew that I was getting involved in social media activism 6 years ago, at least I had the right level of self-awareness that I realised I needed to make an account with an alias to protect my son and my family from any possible repercussions.
So the sharing of this information also builds community. So we shouldn't not become afraid to use these technology, but we should reappropriate them based on our own conditions and use the tools that allow us to do that. We are very good at that in real life.